No, I'm not talking about the cut page, silly. I'm talking about the media page. You probably just skip right past it and dump your media straight into the media pool on the edit page, don't you? Eh? Well, so do I often as well, if I'm honest, but I'm here to tell you that the media page is actually pretty useful and it can do some pretty neat stuff. So, let me show you. Now, the first thing I want to show you is this, the media storage. We click media storage, top left-hand corner, and we get these two panels on the left. This one on the far left, these are all your drives on your PC, and then all of the folders and the media within those drives will appear here. Now, you can think of the media storage as a portal right into your computer's soul, because from here, you can see everything. You can see all of your files and all of your folders, and it's completely live. To navigate, you can simply click on the drives on the left-hand side. So if I was to open up my M2 drive, I'd see my folders within there. If I was to jump into Resolve, I'd see the folders within there and all that sort of thing. But that's a little bit cumbersome. There is a better way. So there's a couple of folders which I use all the time. The first one is this. This is my OBS folder. So within my File Explorer, just within Windows, just within my operating system, not within Resolve, I can grab this OBS folder and just drag it literally anywhere to this media storage and release. And what it will do is just drill directly in to that location. So I can say I'm in the OBS folder and I can see all the media within that folder appears here. But that's still a little bit too much effort. If you want to save a folder, you can do so using favorites. So as mentioned, I use this OBS folder all the time. So I'm going to right click on the OBS folder on the left, and there is an option to add folder to favorites. Alternatively, what you can actually do is just click and drag down to this little area here, and then we'll add OBS to favorites. Now there's another folder I use all the time, my 5-Minute Fridays folder. So I'm going to give that a click. We'll drag here. We've jumped straight into there. And then I can grab that, drag it down to favorites, and there we go. So now whenever we open a new project, we go to the media page, we go to the favorites, we just click on our favorites, and we can jump directly into that directory without having to go looking around for things. And any new media that now appears within OBS or within the 5-Minute Fridays folder, in my example, it's all there ready to go. Just for quick reference, if you ever need to get rid of them, simply right click the favorites, come on down, and you can remove the folder from favorites to get rid of it. So yeah, that's kind of handy, right? Having your most commonly used folders accessible within Davinci Resolve without actually having to import anything. But you could just drag and drop directly onto the edit page media pool instead. So what's the big whoop? Well, seeing your media here before you've actually imported anything is super useful, and it actually allows you to do a few different clever things. And the first thing to show you is the attributes. You can actually see the attributes for all of the clips really quickly and easily, which can actually be kind of tricky to do in your operating system. So at the moment, I've drilled into this folder. I've got a bunch of clips within here. This is currently on the thumbnail view. If we click this icon, we can change it to the list view, and then we can see the names and a few details. If we right click the column heading, these are all the different things which we can see. So we've got some really cool stuff like frames, resolution, bit depth, video codecs, audio codecs, number of audio channels, FPS, all that sort of stuff. So if we scroll over to the right, you can see we've got the bit depth here. Some of my footage is 8, some of it is 10. It's H.264. If we scroll over to the right, we can see the number of audio channels. It's all really handy to be able to see that before you actually import it into your project. A really great example of this is if you've shot mixed frame rates and mixed resolutions all day. You've just dumped your media into a folder on your PC. If you open it up from here, you can really quickly see which is which is 1080 120 or which is 4K 30 or whatever. And then there's the fact that you can review all of your footage really quickly without importing it. So if I just double click on one of these clips, I've got the preview window here. We can hit play and we can just review our footage. Another real bonus tip here, if you click on the 3 little dots in the top right hand corner, there's an option to show zoomed audio waveform or a full clip audio waveform. So let's go with the full clip one, and you can just see the waveform as we go. This is really useful in this example. It's only a short clip, but I can really quickly, I know that my second take was my better one, so I can just come right over here, hit play, and there we go. Now you can also create something called subclips. So this example, there was 2 clear takes, as we can see from the waveforms. I only actually want this second bit. So what we can do, put our playhead where we want it, hit I on our keyboard to mark an in, go to the end here, O on our keyboard to mark an out, and then if we click the preview window, hold our mouse, drag down here to the actual media pool, which will then import this footage into our project. We can give this new subclip a name if we want to. I'm going to leave it as it is. Click create. And now this clip within our media pool that now exists within our project is just that one section. So if you've got a really big video with loads of particular sections you want to cut out, you can do it all before you've even imported your footage and create multiple of these subclips. Handy. Now, it's important to note that this subclip doesn't then exist on your media storage on your hard drive. All it's doing is Davinci Resolve is saying, look at this one clip, but only use this particular section. You can import the entire clip, and then you can have 5 different subclips from that one clip. You can use them however you like. And sticking with importing, there's a few things you can do there too. So using this media storage allows you to import your media in a few different ways. So first of all, let me jump into this Keep folder. And within here, you can see I've got 3 individual folders. Now, just for reference, you can see those folders do exist on my actual hard drive, and the media storage is just pulling them through because, of course, it is a live view. If I was to change the name of one of these, it would automatically update within the media storage. Anyway, let me open up one of these folders, and we can, of course, import media just by clicking on an individual clip, dragging down to the media pool, which is down here, and releasing, and it imports the media as per usual. But you can also import folders. So let me go back to this Keep. If I highlight all 3, so I'm going to click and drag my mouse to highlight them like so. If we drag down and release here on this main media pool area, what it will do is just take all those individual files from those 3 folders and dump them down here into the media pool. However, if we click and drag and release over here on the left underneath master, it will keep the same structure, video, audio, and images 1, and put the media within the correct folders. Alternatively, you can right click and you've got these 3 options to do exactly the same. I just prefer that drag and drop method. That's not linking those 2 things together. It's just looking at the file structure as it exists right now and then replicating it within your project. If you was to then go and change the folders or the files on your hard drive, that wouldn't be replicated automatically within the media pool within the project itself. I think that makes sense. Now, something else which is really handy is you can actually extract audio from a clip. So I'm just going to open up this clip here. We can see my waveform. This is actually a really long clip. It's about 45 minutes. And let's say that I wanted to just get this audio off. I want a separate audio file without the video. If you right click on any video that has audio within your media storage area, there is an option to extract the audio. You don't have to configure it. You don't set anything. What it will do is run through that clip and actually pull off a WAV file of purely the audio. So there you go, it's done. It has exactly the same file name, but now it's a WAV file, and that now it actually exists on your hard drive. A quick way to get to it, if we right click, open file location, that will actually open that file location on our PC, and you can see here we have a WAV file. It's a simple way of just ripping audio from a video. Now, another super quick tip and a big word of warning. You can delete things using this media storage. And what that will do is actually delete the file from your hard drive. It's handy, but it's dangerous if you're not aware of exactly what it's doing. So that WAV file we've just created, I don't actually need it. If we right click, there is an option to delete permanently. Now, they've worded it like that for a very particular reason. This will delete this file permanently. If we give that a click, it will also then give you a second warning saying this will permanently delete the files from your disk. Nothing to do with Davinci Resolve, it's actually deleting them from your hard drive. If you don't want to do that, obviously cancel, but if you do, hit delete. It's going to run through and say it's deleted this one file. We're okay, done. Now, if you're feeling particularly brave, again, don't do this unless you know this is what you want to do. If you right click on a folder, there is also an option to delete a folder permanently as well. But we don't want to do any more deleting. Instead, next we're going to talk about the clone tool. So Davinci Resolve actually has a clone tool built in, which allows you to quickly and safely, we'll get back to that in a moment, make copies of your footage. So if you've got a bunch of files or folders on an external SSD or an SD card, and you want to copy those to the internal drives on your PC, you can use the clone tool. It's basically the same as copying and pasting, but it allows you to do a copy and a paste to multiple locations in one go, which can be handy. You can queue them up. So again, if you've got loads of different stuff going on, you can make a big long queue and it'll just run through it all. And it also uses something called a checksum, which basically means that it will actually check for errors when copying. It will compare the two files in a very fancy algorithmical way, which I can't explain, don't know how it works, but it will essentially compare the two files to make sure they are exactly the same, which should just mean that you limit the chance of any errors or anything weird going on when you're actually copying things across. Using the clone tool is simple. If we click on clone tool up here, we get this queue in the middle, and then we add a job, and it simply says what's the source and what's the destination. Now we can drag and drop, or we can right click. So I'm just going to go to my SD card, which I currently have plugged in down here, my Lumix. And I'm going to right click on this panel folder, and I can set as the clone source. Or I could simply drag and drop over here. Now I've already set some other folders up. So let me go to my HD drive. We've got a clone there. So we're going to drag that one into a destination. And let's just do one more for good luck. Clone destination 2. So it's going to copy everything from that panner on my SD card to these two locations on my F and my G. If I wanted to set up another job, we can click add job. So then we've got a job number 2. I don't want that, so I'm just going to click on the X to get rid of it. If we click on the three little dots in the top right hand corner, we can change this checksum if you want to, but I'm going to leave it as it is. And then we're going to hit clone, and it's simply going to grab all the folders and files from this folder and copy them to this folder. But check for any errors and make sure they're all good. Winner. Cloning. Cool. Next up, I've got one which is only for you studio users. So this isn't available in the free version, just for those people on the studio version, but it is scene cut detection, and it's worth showing you because it's kind of clever. So I've got the YouTube video here, and this is the actual output from this 5 Minute Friday video that I made. If we right click, there's an option to use scene cut detection. We're going to give that a click. And then we can change the actual amount. We can change the in and outs and do all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to hit this auto scene detect. And what it's going to do is run through that entire clip and look for points where there are cuts. So when I do a little snap in, or whether I move from my face recording to the screen recording, and it's going to automatically make the cut in the file for us. So I've let that run through. It's found 20 cuts, as you can see here. If we add the cuts to the media pool, I can then just get rid of this scene detect window. And now we have 20 of these subclips. So we give this first one a click and hit play. And it's just that first section before I made the cut. And the next one, there you go. So it's cut it up automatically, which is pretty cool. I know it's only for the studio users, but it's worth giving you a little demonstration. Next up, last but not least, I want to show you syncing audio. I have to sync all of my audio for these YouTube videos. There's a clever way that you can do it, and then there's also a way that you can adjust the sync on the media page. So first thing, this actually isn't limited to just the media page, but it's super useful to know. I've got audio, which contains my WAV, my audio recordings, and then I've got video. So they're in two separate folders. If we just hold Control and click them both within this media pool area, I can then right click, auto sync audio based on waveform, and it's just going to run through everything within there, look for ones that match, and then sync them up. So I don't need to do them individually, I can just do them all in one big go. This video doesn't have any matching audio, so it failed. That's all good. Click on OK, and job done. Now you'll see I've got this synced audio column. If you don't see that, simply right click on the heading, come down to synced audio and give it a click. If it's kind of miles over somewhere, you can actually drag these around by clicking and dragging just to move them wherever you want them. And you can see this clip has synced up with first WAV, this one with second, this one with warning, this one with tilde. Now, if I just select this one and hit play, if there's just one keyboard shortcut within Davinci Resolve, that sync has worked pretty perfectly for me. But if the sync hasn't worked, you can also adjust that sync really quickly directly from the media page. So first thing, double click on the video to open it up in the preview, then click on audio at the top. You'll see the meters, by the way, which is super handy to just check your meters. Then if we jump over to waveform, we can have a look at the waveform. Now, quick word of warning, these waveforms will only show for synced audio within your media pool. If you open up a video from within the media storage area and hit play, this waveform you're looking at isn't actually the right waveform. So just bear that in mind. It only works for the synced audio within your media pool. Now, obviously my audio is synced up, but let's pretend that it's a bit off. What you can do is click on this little chain icon at the bottom right to unlink the audio. Then if we use my right and left arrow keys, I can actually shift this audio left and right. So let's just make this completely off. I'm actually breaking it rather than fixing it, but usually you'd go the other way around. And then we relink by just clicking this icon once again. And then we hit play. If there's just one keyboard shortcut within Davinci Resolve there, and as you can see, I've broke it. And that's it. The media page actually does some pretty clever stuff. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to start using it, or if you're just going to ignore all of this and keep dumping it into the media pool on the edit page. Either way, whatever you choose, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.